Okay, where are you? There you are. We could do it a little bit more light, couldn't we? Yep, that's good. Let's see. Let's go there. And there. And there. And there. And there. And pre-post. Pre-show layers. It's number 11. Here we go. Okay, where are we? Right there. Guys. Yeah, I forgot I was live. Let's go back. I don't know what I was doing. Oh my gosh. The inadvertent switch from one, let me get this guy centered up, from one location to another. Can we do that? Yeah, it worked. It's that easy. It's that easy. Holy cow. So what did what did I do? Jeez, now I'm embarrassed. All right, I'll be honest with you, especially if my wife is watching. If she's not watching, don't tell her. But I did have a brownie from the convenience store next door. Oh my gosh, it is so good. Do not tell her, please. I know where you live. Not really. But I had a soda and a brownie after I finished my nuts and cheese. Yep. Might be the lemonade. No, today it's actually Coca-Cola. But it's the darndest thing. I went down to the little store down here, and it was just a 1-2 minute walk. And nobody in the store was masked. Nobody working in the store was masked. I took my mask in my pocket, but, you know, no sense in me putting it on. It doesn't protect me. Holy cow. Edgar County Watchdogs. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. Rudy. Rudy. What are we going to do with Rudy? I would love to say that I would see you in the fall, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. I'm working on it. And Jap Z Production. I keep forgetting who that is in real life. You guys challenged me beyond my ability to hold it. But that's okay. Let's see. Let's pop over just for a second to Facebook and see who's there. Oh, Ted's there. Holy cow. Jeremy's there. Yeah, I was live. Didn't know it. Rafael is there. And Ted recognizes the little Debbie brownie. Ted, you've called yourself out. Oh, that's great. These are the folks watching on Streaming Idiots. And by the way, if somebody knows how to change the privacy settings on a group like that and keep it private, but also allow the comments to come into vMix Social, I would love to know that, because I don't know that. Would love to know that. Let's see. Okay, let's see what this looks like here. That doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. And Sasha got his P400. Congratulations. That's awesome. Patrick Glory, if you're watching, this is the camera. Yep, there we go. So let's see. I'll tell you about my setup in a minute. Hello, Michael. It's Jacob, of course. Hello, Jacob. Sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot I was live. I didn't forget. I mean, I knew the stream was going. I just forgot that I was playing around with things as if the stream was not going. And I had a little foible with the stream this morning. I had been playing with the new vMix implementation of YouTube Live, and I made a mistake of playing with it with a live preset. I mean, not a live preset, but a preset that I use. And so there we go. I made changes and it stayed because I saved it. And so when I hit the stream button, all of a sudden we were streaming 3 destinations instead of just 2. So I'll need to go in. If that YouTube actually did anything, I'll need to go in and delete it. Let's see, are we streaming on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page too? Yeah, let's find out. Yes, it looks like we are streaming there. Yep. Okay, good. And are we streaming on the Watch Live page? Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, I did get my big order of PTZ Optics SuperJoy PTZ controllers in. So if you've been looking for one, we have them in stock now. And why does my phone keep beeping? Goodness gracious. Oh, it's Paul Richards at PTZ Optics. Thanks. Live now on Streaming Idiots talking about you. All right, Paul Richards is he is Paul Richards. He is Paul Richards. He's on the road today, so he's traveling, so he can't watch, of course. Oh well. Oh well, that's okay. That's okay. Rudy says that they are in for a new lockdown. Oh man, I am so sorry. Well, apparently the governor here in Alabama has said that come April 7th, whatever day it is probably, my guess, it might be after Easter, that she is lifting the mask, or the mask mandate will expire. But the truth of the matter is that around here it is expiring all by itself. I just visited the convenience store, a 2-minute walk from here, and no one inside was masked, including the folks working there. And everybody walking in, nobody walking in had their mask like, you know, should I put this on? Should I not put it on? No, they were just going straight in, not with any thought of masking. I had mine in my pocket, but nobody else was masked, so you know, I know I'm not a threat to them, and that's the only reason I would mask. So there we go. Herman's here from Lake Wales. Good day. And Rudy says we can still go outside, but all non-essential shops are closed. Education will stop for 3 to 4 weeks. Oh man, that is just bad news. That is bad news. Rudy, I don't know what the rules are in Belgium, but here in the U.S., typically the vaccine is given to frontline medical workers and other first responders and older folks, 75 and older, first. And it's on a sort of a state-by-state basis. And so here in Alabama, they've moved down, and so it's now, at least a week or so ago, it dropped down to 65 and older, and I think it may have dropped down even lower than that now. I plan on getting it, but I was waiting until Sandy, who is much younger than I am, till she and I can get it at the same time. That way we can compare our symptoms and whine together. Yeah. So Herman, what's going on down in Lake Wales? Holy cow. I want to hear about you. Michael says Texas is 50 plus now. And you guys don't have a mask mandate either, do you? That was lifted. And it was next door to us in Mississippi. Texas is 50 plus. Okay. Well, that means Michael Graves has to wait another round or two. Ted Benson identified this immediately, which says something about Ted, that this is a Little Debbie fudge brownie. I can die right now. Not really. Herman says the weather's great in Lake Wales. All right, so Michael's no mask mandate. People still wear them. That's good. That's good. I'm hoping we can ease back into this with a combination of people like me that have had it, and hopefully I carry some sort of immunity, and then people that are getting the shots so that they won't catch it. Eventually that should catch up with itself. Michael, I think that's what we're going to see here in Alabama, is that businesses will still require it, but the government will not require it. So that allows each business or church, for that matter, to decide on their own if it's something they want to do. I know our church, we are social distancing, but we're not masking. And we haven't masked, golly, I think our first service back together was a year ago, last Easter. And I think we might have masked for that one, but we haven't masked for any since then. It's been wonderful. Rudy says, why don't we develop a streaming vaccine? There's no cure. There's no cure. All right. And Herman says you can make money donating plasma. Well, you can, but once that blood leaves my body, I don't want it back. Edgar County says the only place here that ever required it was Walmart and the hospital. Interesting. What state are you in? Are you in Texas? I don't know where Edgar County is. We probably ought to get moving. Herman says, little town, not much to say. I love it. Illinois. Okay. Interesting. Isn't that funny? The Illinois kind of sounds like the antithesis of Michigan. Okay. So if you hear some crinkling paper during the show, you know where it is. It's me. All right, let's all mute our cell phones. And that'll work. Big shout out to Paul Richards, PTZ Optics. Love the SuperJoy controller, really is a good solution. 250 or 200 miles south of Chicago. Okay, that's cool. That means you can make it up there for a Bears game if you wanted. All right, well, let's get this show on the road, shall we? If we hit one of the right buttons, we might just start a show. Better move the controller, our lovely PTZ Optics with this custom, with the custom grill that we made ourselves. Yeah, here we go. Yes, you have arrived at Streaming Idiots. Oh my gosh. Isn't that a terrible way to start a show? Oh my, wow. Holy cow. Yes. Well, the reason I did that, because I wanted to get your attention. I didn't want to gross you out, but I wanted to get your attention. Today we're reviewing, well, we're not reviewing, we're playing with, how about that? That's better. We're playing with the BirdDog P400. P400 is the BirdDog, dare we call a $4,000 camera, an entry level. It's an entry level 4K full NDI camera. $4,000, yes, but it might be the right solution for a problem that you may have. It's pretty cool. Well, let me show you. Let's see. Do we have a picture of this? Yes. Do we have a picture of this? I think we do. Here it is, right here. There it is. That is the BirdDog P400. The QR code there actually will take you to our website where you can purchase one. It is full NDI. Let's see what else. Oops, let's go the other way, right there. Yep, you can see it's got the little blinking on-off light. The light that's blinking at the bottom indicates that it's powered on and operational. Above the lens, you'll see another light. You remember I tried to do this last week with the PTZ optics camera, and it was a mess. Trying to show you a tally light, but take my word, that is a tally light. Let's see if we put that camera in. If we put the camera in preview, it doesn't do anything. But if we put it in program, let's see if we can catch it. Yeah, there you go. You see the light just pop right out. And obviously the cameras are looking at each other. But it is about the same size as a P200, the HD model. It has a little fan inside. So I think the fact that it's doing 4K processing makes everything a little warmer. And so there's a little fan that goes inside. And so as a result, it is not, let's see if I can get it to spin back around this way. It is not, I repeat, not a PoE. Instead, it is PoE++. Let's see if we can make it go this way. Will that make it go to the left or to the right? No, it's going so slowly you can't see it. Isn't that something? Let's just move it around here. There we go. One of the things that I like about it, and I like about the whole PTZ Optics line of cameras, the whole BirdDog line of cameras, yeah, and it does compare with PTZ Optics. We'll compare contrast in just a second. But this particular camera, come on, baby. Oh, you know what? I'm turning the wrong camera. So that's why the camera wouldn't turn. There we go. There we go. Let's try this camera. And we'll go right there. There we are. All right, we're back. The pan and the tilt and the zoom on this camera will increment in smaller increments so you can go slower. So for example, if we wanted to do let's go ahead and just go back to this shot for a second, shall we? There we go. And I am going to zoom out very slowly. So this gives us a nice slow zoom. The autofocus is able to keep up. Notice the color changed a little bit when it got into my face, but I've got everything set on automatic right now. And that's about the right spot right there. I like that. I like that a lot. I've got a PTZ Optics camera at church. In fact, it's a Gen 1, but the Gen 2s are the same way. And I like to do the zoom. There are different times when when, panning is not the right motion because it's too much motion, but a little, pulling that camera back a little bit and including more of what's there sometimes will fix it if you've got somebody that's moving back and forth. You can't follow them the whole time, so you just give them a bigger stage to walk on. And that works for me, but I wish it would zoom out just a little bit more slowly. It's a little too quick for my liking. What I want is a zoom like you see in the movies that zooms and you're not conscious of the zoom because it's zooming so smoothly and so slowly. So let's see. Did I tried to set up some keyboard shortcuts here. And let me bring my keyboard up to the top and see if they worked. Let's do that down for a second. So that's I think that's a little faster. Yeah. And I'll have to work on that in the shortcuts in vMix. You can set the different speeds, and the BirdDog, currently we're using the Sony Visca IP way of addressing the commands of the camera. At some point, I'm hoping we can use NDI because I'm thinking they may be more fine-tuned, perhaps even a little bit more responsive. We'll see. Time will tell on that. One of the natures of the BirdDog gear in general is that BirdDog, even though they've got the product on the market and you have one, they are still working behind the scenes to improve it. And so that's why you'll see sometimes that there's a firmware update. And the firmware, sometimes the firmware is fixing a problem. Obviously, the update is fixing a problem. But other times it is releasing new features. And some of these features are features that they've planned in advance, and other features are features that they've realized, oh, people would like this, and we can do it. We didn't intend to do it, but we realize now it's a feature that would be valuable to our clientele. And so they will improve the product that you already own. And I can't think of too many companies that do that, that actually make... when you decide to buy something, you say, okay, that equals the value that I'm going to give in dollars. And then the product becomes more valuable later because they've made an improvement to it. Now, the firmware update process is it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's probably not for a newbie. The first time or two, I was a little nervous doing it. Anytime when somebody says, "Oh, you might brick your device if you do this incorrectly," it makes you want to follow the directions, step by step, and not leave out any directions for sure. But once you've done it a time or two, it's like, okay, well, we know how to do it. And as a dealer for BirdDog, I've gotten pretty familiar with how to make the firmware updates to the cameras and the keyboards and the flexes and things like that. So, and you'll find most of those in our store. Let's see, I think that takes you to our website, but their store is on the website too. And we sell, all the BirdDog gear, the encoders and the cameras and the keyboards and all the cool stuff. If you don't see it in our website, but you're interested in having us provide it to you, we'd be happy to. Just let us know. Sometimes we've missed an item and have not put. In fact, we just put the P400s in today. Just somehow I slipped up and I didn't have those in there. Let me show you the interface for the camera. And you know how when you've got like a DSLR or a camcorder of some kind, you'll have the settings on the viewfinder. And so you can scroll through, and sometimes there's a little touchpad. Well, with the BirdDog gear, all the settings are within a web interface. And so let me find that web interface here. There it is. There it is. And let me bring it to you here. So that is the web interface. That's called the dashboard right there. and you can see some important information and then some extraneous information. I think the most important information is this part right here, which tells me that we are connecting at 2160p, that's 4K, folks, and 29.97, which is broadcast frame rate, at 4.2.0. And we're also set up for DHCP, which means that this doesn't have a fixed IP address, which means we can plug it in and suddenly it's immediately available as NDI source and a source on our network. In fact, here's the IP address that was assigned to it. We can check the serial number. We can check that it's active, and active is kind of important. I realized today as I plugged it in, turned it on, and then brought up this menu, active was blank. It wasn't active. It took a few minutes for everything to get warmed up and hooked up and synced up, and there it was. The firmware version is an important part too, because it'll tell you where you are in terms of the latest greatest firmware. You can go to bird-dog.tv and go to the firmware section in there and compare your camera to whatever they have on their website. And the firmware update process is, again, it's not easy, but it's not incredibly hard. It's just the kind of thing that you need to follow the directions on. The other tabs at the top, and we're on the network tab, we're on the dashboard tab. The network tab allows us to set the configuration for network to static. We can put in our own specific addresses. Here's where we can adjust the DHCP timeout. And that might be important to you. If items on your network sometimes take a little while to be recognized, that just may be the way your network is set up. But if this camera doesn't get recognized in 20 seconds, it falls back to this address right here, 192.168.100.100. So if it doesn't show up on your network, you may want to check and see if that's an issue. And if you can get in, typically I'll change this to 30 seconds just to give myself a little extra time, just in case. We'll go ahead and apply that to this one here. Something with the BirdDog name. It's not sure what's going on with that field. I think that's something they need to continue to work on, because it doesn't always seem to work. On the PTZ tab with a network, yeah, that was the only thing on the network. The PTZ tab, we've got the control where we can set presets and apply them right here. We can change some things with Visca, and we can go to our on-screen display. I think if I turn it on right here, you'll notice that it turned on right here. Oops, right there. So now I've got the ability on the screen, like you would with a DSLR or a camcorder, to go through and let's see, down. Yeah, I can check the various, let's see, let's go into white balance, for example, because we're fixing to go to white balance. And so here are the options that I have with white balance. I have white balance, auto, and then if I change the auto, let's see if we can make that go some other way. Yeah, there we go. So that's TV, that's indoor, outdoor. Not sure what that is exactly. And then we'll go back to outdoor auto, SVI auto, SVI, what in the world? Holy cow, now we're back to auto. That's where we want to be. And so coming back here, and basically what I just did is I clicked the up and down, left and right buttons, and we'll turn that menu back off. Going over to the system, well, hold on. I clicked that button twice. Now it's off. There we go. Going to the system, I can set my passwords. I can do an update like the firmware update, and then I've got the ability to change some other NDI network settings. And then this is the good stuff, the audio video. We've got the NDI encode is the very first of the 246 tabs. I've got a slider here where I can manually adjust how much bandwidth I want the camera to do. I can set what the video output is. Excuse me. We are in vMix. I'm operating at 4K, but I'm only live streaming at 1080. I didn't have a chance to test that before the show, so I didn't want to go too far off board. But it's a 4K camera in a 4K environment that's live streaming 1080p. I guess I don't know if we're recording. We were recording 4K. I'll have to check that. No, we're recording HD. Okay, that'd be interesting to make a 4K recording and compare. Here is my chroma subsampling that we saw from the first menu. I've got the NDI audio is active, but it really doesn't need to be because I'm not using audio from the camera. So we can turn that off. I've got the onboard tally light that's on, and I've got a failover source for, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's for the PC, but this is set for some laptop somewhere. And then available NDI sources. Again, we'll see if we can refresh that and it makes any difference. No, not sure what those guys are. But getting into exposure, now we've got we've got choices of full auto, manual, shutter priority, iris priority, bright, and gain priority. Here right now, we're on full auto. I am, you need to know this, I am not a camera buff. And so a lot of these settings don't mean anything to me other than, golly, let's go in and play with it and see what it is. The white balance, we've got the white balances that we just saw just a few minutes ago when we changed them on the screen. Indoor, outdoor, one push, ATW, manual, outdoor auto, SVL, and SVL outdoor auto. We're going to leave with auto right now. We've got the ability, if we didn't leave it with auto, if we did manual, now we can come in and adjust the red and the blue gain. And we've got the ability to set all of these other settings, whatever they are. Let's go back to auto. In the detail section, we have got the ability to manually set detail, the crisping and the HV balance and the black-white balance and various details. We'll leave that again on auto. And picture 2D NR, I think, is second noise reduction, and 3D NR, I think, is third. Would that be right? Yeah, third noise reduction, but I could be wrong. 2D and 3D, not sure. Anyway, they were set on 3. I cranked them up to 5, and I think the picture improved a little bit when I did. The rest of these are pretty self-explanatory. Be interesting to try this stabilizer one down here at the bottom. Maybe in a location where you have a PTZ camera mounted on a wall and there's a door on that same wall, and that door might cause the wall to shake a little bit, and so having the stabilizer might fix that for those of you that are considering a 4K camera in that sense. That might be a good solution, or even a 4K camera that you can run at 1080p and fixes that problem with stabilization. The last setting is the gamma page, and allows you to make all the gamma changes, whatever the hell gamma is. Again, not an aficionado in that sense, but definitely skilled at doing the firmware update and doing some troubleshooting with the camera. My impression of the camera so far is very positive. I know. The one thing that tripped me up from the very beginning was I am not an instructions reader, and I've worked with a lot of the P200s, the BirdDog P200s, and my network here is PoE+. And so it never dawned on me that plugging a Ethernet cable into the back of this BirdDog P400 would not give me everything I needed: control, video, and power. What I didn't know, and it took me a while to figure it out because I'm not the brightest bulb, is that this is a PoE++ device. So if you are wanting to do PoE, you want to make sure that you've got ++ as an option, at least for this camera. Plus will not work. Plus will give you, will make you think there's something wrong with the camera, but it's with the operator who didn't read the directions. The solution for me was, since I don't have a PoE++ network, was to use the handy dandy brick power, DC power, AC-DC power adapter that comes with it. So plug that in, plug it into Ethernet. I've got my network switch here is auto sensing, does it need power or does it not need power? And so once it realizes it doesn't need power, then it'll begin to hook up to the network portion. And it took about 45 seconds for this guy to get stabilized earlier. Now, you remember when we were talking just a minute ago about the DCHP Fallback, the time that it took for the camera to set itself up for my network apparently did not exceed the 20 seconds that was in there, because I had not changed that. And so that was a default and was sufficient for me. But I did wonder about that when the camera didn't come up right away. I'm thinking, okay, did we fall back to that other IP address that is not a network address that is used on this network? But that was not the case. The way I knew that was I have the NDI tool set that you can get free from, I think it's ndi.tv. You have to give them your email address, but that's free. And they will send you a link to get all the tools. And the tool I needed was the NDI Studio Monitor. I had that. I fired that up. And what the Studio Monitor does is to automatically search out and recognize all of the possible NDI sources on your network. And it found this camera. And so I clicked onto this camera and the image was black. And that's how I knew I had an issue. And so I basically rebooted the camera and then came back and it was black again. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to just go check everything else. We'll give it a chance to kind of come up, because sometimes an NDI source won't show up right away. The fact that Studio Monitor recognized that the NDI source was present was good, but there really wasn't anything there. Once it recognized it, it didn't receive a video signal. And after, again, about 45 seconds, it did. And it saw all the other sources on my network without problem. So overall, favorable with the camera. Can't wait to test it some more. This particular camera right here is a demo. And if you would be interested in trying it out, shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, or you can go to our website, Eastern Shore Broadcasting, and send me a message there. The camera, I think, is $39.95, comes in black and white, has SDI and HDMI outputs, also has, well, there are a bunch there are a bunch of different connections on the back of it. Not sure all of what they do, but you can go to our website and go to the store section and look up the BirdDog P400 and get the full specs on it there. These are in stock at the distributor, so they're easy to handle. We probably won't be putting a lot of them in stock here because of the cost, but if you want to buy one and would like us to update the firmware and check it out before you receive it, just let us know and we'll have the distributor send it here. We can do that and send it on to you. There's no extra charge, but it might give you a little bit more assurance that the camera is working and is ready for you, especially if you've not had one before and you want to make sure that it's right and it's not something you're doing wrong. That's probably the case. Not that you're doing something wrong, but that it makes you feel better to do that. It makes me feel better if I know somebody that knows more than I has checked something and has made sure it's A-OK. So that's the BirdDog P400 4K. By the way, it's got a Sony sensor. That's pretty cool. So if you have Sony Handycams or Sony DSLR and you want to match color, the fact that this guy's got the same sensor that's in those cameras might make it a lot easier for you to get the color match just like right out of the box. So that's a big plus too, I think. Moving along, coming up next month, we will be doing our vMix 101 Basics of Live Production and Live Streaming again. If you have always meant to take it but never did, it's not too late. You can go sign up in the store on the website. It's $199. It's a 6-week class, 2 hours a day for 6 weeks, so it's 12 hours of live instruction. You can ask questions. If you've always got, everybody's got that list of questions of things they never were able to figure out but weren't important enough to spend 2 hours looking for it on Google. Well, you can get answers to those questions there. The classes are recorded, and the recordings are posted in a private Facebook group that only folks in the class have access to. So if you miss a class or have to leave early, you can see the video. In fact, the video is available immediately after the class. So you can go back immediately and see what you missed, or if you just want a review, you can go back because sometimes I talk quickly. Have you noticed that? Yeah. You could have a review and catch what you missed. The Facebook group also serves as a great place to ask questions in between classes and a great place to get to know the other people in the group. If you have taken the class before, if you're an alumni of the class, then you are welcome to attend the class again at no charge. If you purchased a PC from us ever that has vMix on it, you are welcome to take the class at no charge. So we're trying to add some benefit for those of you that have some of the items that we've had in the past. We'd love to have you come. The class description is on the website at easternshorebroadcasting.com in the store under classes, I think under classes and workshops. But it will be 6 weeks, and on the website it tells you what subjects are covered which weeks. So if there's something like audio that you'd like to attend that class and just that class, you can do that. If you want to attend and you are an alumni or a previous vMix PC purchaser, you'll need to send me a note and I will send you a code so you can register for the class and not have to pay for it. That's important. So there'll be a code, a unique code for you. If you're an alumni, you get one seat. If you're a PC owner, you get one seat. You can't give it to everybody on your staff. It's just you. The other thing coming up, and I had a request for this morning, I think it's going to be a good idea, is we want to do a workshop or seminar. We're not sure exactly how to call it, but one afternoon or one evening on vMix and Zoom. So many folks are not able to get everything they want out of that connection. So I thought, well, let's set up something live. That way if people have questions, they can stop and say, wait, what was it you just did? That's the part I'm missing. So that'll be coming up. You'll look for that too, and we'll make sure that that's posted on our website and in the Streaming Idiots group and on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page in Facebook and on Twitter and those kind of places. But if you have questions and you want more information on that, always feel free to go to the website and contact me there. Happy to help with that. We want to give a shout out to the City University of New York. The Hostas Center is receiving a whole bunch of PTZ optics cameras from us this week and a custom-built PC for all their goodies there. The folks at Ted Benson's church out in California are getting brand new PTZ optics cameras, and a SuperJoy keyboard. We just shipped those out yesterday. Who else have we been dealing with lately? Well, we probably should keep some of these names to ourselves. But they're names that you might recognize. Anyway, we're going to cut over to the post show now. So if you've got questions about the PTZ camera or about the vMix 101 class, we'd love to have you ask them at that point. And I'll be right back after we do the close. Okay, let's see. We got audio here? Yeah, we got audio. All right. Michael Quist is late. Oh my gosh. Gee whiz. PoE++ because it needs more than 30 watts. That's right, Michael. It definitely does. And I tried to cram some extra W's down in there, but they wouldn't take it. Oh, thank you, Martin K. Martin K says that 2D and 3D are dimensions where 3D includes time as the third dimension. So that's interesting. So as I go and look at the picture tab, I am adding more depth to the dimension. You think that's how it would work? Joe San John asks, what mic are you using? Looking to add to my inventory. I am really happy with this mic. It is it's a boom mic. Bring it in here. It is an Audio Technica AT897. It is about an 8-inch boom, and it works really well for me in the studio over there with a group. I've had 3 or 4 or 5 people, on it, and it picks up everybody really well. I mean, you think of a shotgun mic as being pretty focused, and this one is, but it also picks up a group very nicely. It also picks up a pin that drops. It's a condenser mic, so you have to be really careful with that. It would be phantom powered, or you can put a battery inside of it. But we've done a lot of sound absorption here in the studio so that we're not getting a lot of echo. Otherwise, this mic would definitely pick it up. I really like it. I've got 3 of them and really like them. Really like them a lot. Thanks for asking. Rich says, what did I miss? Oh, Rich, we haven't started the show yet. Rich has got some interesting stuff that he's doing with the Elgato Stream Deck. Rich, maybe you can come on the show at some point and show folks that. That looked pretty cool. John Lynn says, not late. Sure. Been watching, but kept busy with other things. Yeah, Marie kept you busy with her to-do list. That's right. OG Gamer says he uses a Sennheiser MKE 600 and an EVRE20 in the studio. Yep. And a lot of it's personal preference. I bought this mic on eBay, not knowing a whole lot about it, but knowing I wanted a shotgun. It came it came in a nice carry case with a mic stand and the windsock, and I plugged it in, figured out how it worked, and it did great, and it was just what I wanted. I think I bought it, I will say maybe for $125, $150 in eBay. I think it retails for about, I don't know, maybe $250. It's not an expensive piece of gear, but it's been the right tool for the job. The right tool for the right job. All right, let's see if we can pull up some more comments here where I can see them. Welcome, Gunner. Glad you are here. Tim Trot Productions says, I think split screens could show the camera and the tally light. Yeah, Tim, we tried that last week. It does, but it took me 2 or 3 tries to get the right combination of things up there. But you know, it's a light. The light comes on. I mean, what's the big deal? You know, it's a light. Let's see. Vioburgerostofa. Boy, I didn't even come close to that. I'm sorry. Somebody probably mentioned it, not trying to be a gamma police. It's just a polite mention. Say BirdDog instead of dog in stream name. Oh, it says BirdDog instead of, oh, gotcha. Yeah, thank you. There was a capital D missing. We'll fix that. We will fix that. Michael asks, can you share a link to the mic? Sure. Let me look that up real quick. Audio Technica AT897. And I'm going to share a link to the Audio Technica site, because that's a definitive resource for this. And they say it's $250. And I'll put that in chat. Oops. There we go. So that's in chat at YouTube, and let's put that in chat at Streaming Idiots. One sec. We'll do that. There we go. All right. But you can also Google Audio Technica AT897 if you are not in a place where you can get these links. All right. No, Jan says that Maria's at the vet with one of her cats. He came home one evening and had obviously been in a fight. I hate that. We don't have cats, we have dogs, but it's no fun when they get involved like that. Michael Quist, any new stuff after your walkover of replay from last show? Any afterthoughts? Michael, my afterthought is I need a faster network if I'm going to have 8 full NDI cameras on the network and expect them to operate like they should and also be able to live stream. We had a hard time staying on the air with that. Oh, but last week we did non-NDI features from vMix. And that was kind of fun to go in and explore what features there were, like the alerts. You know, your volume is too low alert. Your what were the other 2 alerts? Anyway, they drove me crazy. You know, you're not recording. Well, if I'm not recording, it's because I don't want to be recording. I have triggers set up to record. But that is. I think 24 is a worthy minor update of vMix if it weren't for the replay. There's enough in it that I could see vMix having released kind of a minor version 20. It used to be that and I don't know that it was intentional, but it just sort of worked out that maybe the even numbered updates had a major feature and the odd number updates had a collection of smaller features that were added. Obviously, version 24 has both, and I think Martin has done a superb job once again in juggling the needs of folks. They really do a great job of listening and trying to discern what it is that people need. I was watching a video last night. Bless my wife's heart. She has to deal with some strange TV watching habits from her husband. But I was watching a live stream from 2014 of a program called Studio Tech Live that was done by an Englishman named Mark Johnson. He was either Johnson or Johnston, and a Yank named Vance. Don't remember his last name. Anyway, they were interviewing Martin Sinclair. It was like 4 in the morning Australian time, because this was being done in the late afternoon or early afternoon here in the U.S. And Martin was describing vMix 13, which had just come out. And I think it was preceded of, well, I don't think, it was preceded by vMix 12, which apparently had vMix Social in it. And vMix 13 had some audio, some new audio features to it. It was interesting to go back and watch that. If you're ever interested in kind of, the recent history of live streaming from people that were really kind of pushing the envelope, breaking the eggs, look up Studio Tech Live, because the work that they did on communicating with a remote guest, and even remote production with with multiple guests, was just, I think at that point it was kind of groundbreaking. Nobody else was doing it, and there were no products that did it. There wasn't a vMix Call or a Neural Live to Air or anything else like that would do something like that. These guys were just, taking whatever piece parts they could find and putting them together. Just like the early days of hot rodding here in the U.S. Vance Willis, that's right. Thank you, Martin. Vance Willis. I keep meaning to look him up one day and try to swing by South Carolina. I think he used to live in South Carolina. He may still, and take him to breakfast. Vance was the one that gave me the idea for the name of my first show. And I was in the chat room on their show one time, and he recognized me. He said, "Oh, there's that Tom Sinclair, that VidBlaster guy." And so we adopted that as the name for the first show. And as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, realized that really did restrict us to just talking about VidBlaster. And there was so much more going on in live streaming with capture cards and PCs and cameras that we wanted to be able to explore all that. So we renamed the show Streaming Idiots. And Peter, that's right. And Peter ran the TriCaster. And they used TriCasters at either end with a link via Skype. That's right. And they had some bucks tied up in that system too, let me tell you. If you imagine a TriCaster at either end, and then that would be outputting to Skype. But the audio and video was surprisingly good. And they were cutting edge guys. I think it probably burned them out a little bit. But that was interesting to go back and get a little history on vMix, and hear Martin talk about vMix 14. We're now here 10 versions later at vMix 24, and the immense amount of I won't say improvement, but just, technology enhancement, just glomming it on, just pile after pile of technology that's come in with the adoption of 2016 of NDI. vMix was the very first product on the planet outside of New Tech to adopt NDI, hardware or software. And in fact, I was talking with Martin Sinclair that same year at NAB when they introduced it. And he said, I've been thinking about developing, kind of a network protocol that would carry video. And I was I wasn't sure whether I was happy or sad that New Tech came out with it. But I think now he's probably happy. He doesn't have to support it. He can just rest on them to do that. The other things that have come out, of course, in that time were instant replay. which is now in its kind of its second major iteration. vMix Call. vMix Call is huge, and in the last year, it's been probably one of the most used features in vMix. And then I'm trying to think what other features might have come out in that time. Maybe the multi-quarter. And it's funny to look. The guys at vMix, I think, have got some innate ability to see the current path of live streaming and accurately predict what's coming next. And back in version 13, they put in vMix Social. And I think that was an undervalued feature for a number of years. And in just the last year or two, it's just sort of popped. And people are paying attention to it and being able to bring in comments. Where is my vMix Social? My vMix Social is right over here. Let's see if we can put me into the mix on this one. 1 second, let me edit this and get it right. And yeah, kind of quick and dirty, but that's okay. There is my, and that's comments from last week. Let's see if we can update it with a comment from this week from Michael. So we're getting the whole cat story right there. But this kind of thing wouldn't have been possible before vMix Social. It just, I guess you could have done a screen capture and then done a crop, but you couldn't have gotten the name and the picture, and it definitely is much more doable now and creates, I think, when you're doing a kind of a talk show where you're interacting with your audience, it gives you the ability to have great interaction and recognize people that have said really smart things. Well, maybe smart things. While they're in the audience. But it's a great way to recognize your audience. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Yep. As for NAB, I heard this morning that PTZ Optics is a strong maybe. I had heard last week that BirdDog was a strong maybe not, and vMix was a strong maybe not, because at this point there was no assurance that folks in Australia could leave the country or that they could return to the country after they left the country. So it's doubtful that we'll see anything. Well, it's doubtful that we'll see anything official from vMix there. There are at least a couple of U.S. representatives of BirdDog, so there may be something happening at NAB with BirdDog. The Streaming Idiots meetup, which will be held at NAB, probably, I haven't talked to any of these guys yet, but I'm hoping that they would be available to conference in with us on vMix Call. We do the live stream from the meetup and typically interview people there that are there live, but it might be interesting to also interview and bring in, Martin or Tim or Dan or Eamon from BirdDog and talk with them about, just chat with them. But we'll see how that goes. Let's see. It looks like my camera is frozen. What is the deal with that? Let's go here to cameras, and let's go there. Whoops. Hold on. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm not a P400, and I'm not sure what happened to the P400. Let's look at the P400 interface, and it's working in Studio Monitor. So let's see what the story is there. That's odd. We'll have to report that and see what the story is on that. Yep. So we're catching it here on Studio Monitor. This is the Studio Monitor software, but we don't have any PTZ control. We've got picture, but we don't have any control. And the camera is black in vMix. So probably the same thing that happened last time happened this time. Let's see if we can get into it. No, it's got active status and it's got connection info. And it looks good there. Let's restart the video and see if that makes a difference there. And we'll bring it in again in vMix and see. That's not a good thing. Let's check system, AV, NDI encode. Let's bring the video bandwidth down to about 120. Let's see if that makes any difference. So we're still getting the NDI Studio monitor is working, and oh, well, I know why it's working. What camera is this? Yeah, Studio monitor is picking up the PTZ optics camera. This is, there we go. That camera's back. Not sure about that. That's interesting. I'll have to see if I can get some info on that. All right. So there we go. So let's see. Let's get back to our social group here. Frozen. Yes, indeed. What happened to my left pinky finger? Left pinky finger. Yeah, that was a sports accident. Just like that one. Has there been a lost package from the BirdDog? Looks like more than that. Lost connection, too high usage of bandwidth on the network, says Michael. Maybe. Maybe. It's... I would like to be able to manage my network resources a little better. It's something I need to learn some more about. Good news is that Maria's back home, and the X-ray was negative, but the cat is not faking it. There's something wrong with the front right leg. Well, we hope that the cat, is it a boy or a girl, and what is his or her name? And we hope they get better soon. Oh, it is a his, okay, because it's got a his front leg. But he shouldn't be out fighting. It's just not a good thing. Not a good thing. So that's the question, Michael. Was that what? But what was that? What did I have on the network? I had the BirdDog camera at about 185. I've got the PTZ optics camera, which is NDI HX, so that's about 15. So we're up to about 200 right there. I don't have any other PCs on the network. I'm live streaming at YouTube at 5 and Facebook at 5. So that's 210. What else is there? Well, I guess I can go look. and see what my NDI sources are in NDI Studio Monitor. It looks like I've got a lot of other sources available that are NDI outputs from this PC, but they're not being used. Let's bring up Task Manager, and we'll go to that page. Can we do that? And so we're receiving 300. We're sending 7.5-ish. So it doesn't look, and we're on a gig network, so there should be plenty of headroom like that. CPU, interesting that vMix shows, 29-30%, and Windows shows 40%. So I guess it just depends on how you count it. Let's send that there. And then we'll go back here. So Michael's asking, are the cameras connected to some equipment which doesn't have the or does have the expected bandwidth? Well, I don't think. These are the only two cameras that are connected, and there are no other PCs connected. My laptop is on Wi-Fi here, but it's not sending any NDI sources that I know of. So, don't know. Don't know. And this is what David Geckler said. Let's pull up that comment. This is a good comment. And he says, not picking a fight, but this is why I can never recommend NDI anything to churches. And David, that probably is an intelligent position. Obviously, you think so because you think it. It does, the NDI environment does take some management. It's not a point and click or plug and play, two of my favorite phrases. But it does require, it's like a marriage. It does require a little effort. And so my expectation when I put in gear into an NDI environment, that the client has the staff that has the knowledge to manage this and make it work, both in the NDI sense and then in the gear sense, with the BirdDog, for example. Did the BirdDog overheat? Did the network, have a glitch? Mine is a very simple network. It's an unmanaged 8 port switch. PoE plus, but the camera requires plus. So we're powered by shore power. So most churches probably don't have the technical skills on a day-to-day basis to be successful with this. I'm trying to think of the number of clients that I have that are churches that we've put this in where everybody is a volunteer. I can't think of any. The churches where I've got NDI gear are churches where they've got dedicated staff that handle this. And so if there's something that needs to be troubleshooted, or is it troubleshot? Anyway, if they need to do some troubleshooting, they've got the ability to do that. The The benefits, I think, assuming the technical expertise, the benefits far outweigh the deficits. And so, but if I'm given a choice on a small to medium church with no full-time staff for live streaming or technical things, they need to turn it on Sunday morning and have it work. Yeah, I'm probably not proposing NDI gear. I'll do PoE. I'll do control over Ethernet, and I am comfortable doing IP video, but not necessarily NDI. I do IP video at my church. Have never had a problem with that. That's been bulletproof, but it's really, really simple. The PTZ optics cameras are, I think, pretty bulletproof and pretty locked down. And that's a plus or minus. I was talking earlier about BirdDog being able to unlock new features in their gear, and that's, PTZ optics unlocked the ability to repurpose, the standby light as a tally light. But for the most part, what you buy is what you get, and it doesn't change dramatically like we would see in BirdDog. So you kind of have to weigh the cost and the benefit. The BirdDogs are more expensive. I think they have a better image, but they also require more handling. And I think we'll find that true on the what I would call prosumer level gear for live streaming, that the more advanced it gets, the more advanced the operator has to get as a result. But I think that's a great comment. So is there a chart on the amount of bandwidth needed for each NDI camera and sources? That's a loaded question, Otis, because needed, what do you mean? Do you want to achieve a certain amount of clarity? The BirdDog NDI cameras have a slider that allows you to choose the amount of NDI bandwidth you're going to take up. And implicit in that is, the more bandwidth you're going to take, the higher the quality of the image is going to be. Will you and I notice? I don't know. I haven't ever spec'd it out and put it up on a big TV, although I probably ought to do that and see if it makes that much difference. But the fact that it does have the slider means that you can manage it. For example, let's see, can we go back to it right here? That's the chat that I look at when you guys are chatting, and let's see if we can put our other back up. So we're going to go into NDI encode. We're on the AV tab, and here is our NDI video bandwidth, currently set for 183. And I thought we set it down to 120. Let's see. Let's apply it at 120, and then we'll come back and go back. I think it might stay there, but we're also doing 4K. We're doing 2160p, 2997. If we cut this back to 1080p, 2997, obviously we're using a quarter of the data that we're using now. So we're trying to push through an image, and we're kind of managing it at 120 megabits per second. The only chart that there might be would be a chart that you or I might develop on our own. There is grandson Parker. He's getting his viewership numbers in for me. Thank you, Park. Michael's comment, a big advance on NDI is you can mix so many different types of equipment in one single communication standard. Obviously, yes. And with power comes frequently complexity and the responsibility for making sure that all that complex stuff works. Here's an example of a fairly specific purpose from Jonia talking about presentation software. I agree. I think that's great. Let's see. And that echoes my sentiment exactly. Whoops, let's see if we can get that back. There we go. Couldn't have said it better myself. It becomes more complicated as it becomes more complicated. I like that. I'm stealing that. I'll give you credit for it, though. There we go. All right. Well, guys. Thank you, David. Thank you. Yeah, I think there's some responsibility if there is a middleman like me involved. If somebody wants to buy something off of B&H or off of Amazon, they're on their own. They've made their choices. They've pulled up their big boy pants and they are saying, I know enough to make this work. But if somebody's coming to me and is looking for advice on, what will be best for us, I hear that all the time. They're asking me to make a judgment based on my experience and my estimation of what they can handle. Maybe that's not fair, but that's the way I take it. And so, I know that people will be very satisfied with a PTZ optics camera. And I've sold probably hundreds of them. I also know that people that have very, very high standards and have the ability, have full-time staff and have technical expertise, I know that they will have a superior experience with the bird dogs. And that their experience and their technical expertise will match the requirement that will be needed for them to pull it off with the BirdDog gear, at least the way the bird dogs are today. My guess is as time goes on, those kind of bugs will get wiped out and the bird dogs will become more predictable in their behavior. After it all, it is a bird and a dog put together in one place. So, yeah. Otis says, our security monitoring company wants a firewall open to them. I noticed the bottleneck on the network. I'm thinking of setting up a VLAN to segregate it from our NDI. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Yep. All right, guys. Well, we are going to hop out of it today. We've got a couple PCs to start building for a church and another great client. But if we can help you with that, we would be delighted to. And as you can tell, that we don't hesitate to make judgments based on what we think is right, it is best for you, based on what we think you can handle. If somebody calls me and says that they want an NID camera, we're probably not going to go with a BirdDog. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun. And, my apologies to both PTZ Optics and to BirdDog. I do not disparage either one of these companies or their products. I think they have their exact perfect placements. And as a reseller for both of them, my role with my clients is to help them pick the right gear for them based on their expertise and based on their budget. Sometimes budget is a huge determining factor. They may have a lot of expertise, but no budget. Other times they may have a lot of budget, but no expertise. So I want to help them make the best decision that I think is right for them in the long run. Yeah, that's right. Got it. Cool. All right, guys. Alan Bunt is here. Hello, Alan. Amnon Nissan is here. That's all right, guys. Just show up at the very end. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Amnon and Alan, I think, were my first two guests on the show back in the summer of 2012. We'll have to do a reminisce on that when we get to the summer. It'll be 9 years. 9 years. Holy cow. Just seems like the other day we were struggling with how to make this stuff work. And it's the Beister. All right. Welcome. Glad you're here. We're going to wrap up for today, and we will see you next week. Don't forget about our vMix 101 class coming up. If you have bought a PC from us in the past and you'd like access to that class, it's free. Send me a note. If you've taken the class in the past, you're an alumni, you get to go free to the next class. Send me a note. If you're interested in the class, you can send me a note, or you can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, go to the store and find out more information and register there. Amnon says he's been sitting here saying nothing. Well, I understand. Very good. All right. And the Beister says, great class, by the way. There we go. Alan says, Tom, check your email from me. I saw one from you earlier, Al, but I'll check again. So I'll leave you with a closing image. How about this? Nope. Guess I won't. I was going to say that we would do the zoom in on the beard thing, but it appears that the BirdDog is not cooperating. So there you go. There you go. All right. Appreciate you guys. And we'll leave you with a little outgoing right here, and catch you later.